So there's obviously a lot of conversation. We're getting to that point of the year now. Who's the MVP? The top four favorites in the league are Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray, and Dak Prescott. Four quarterbacks. If I'm going to be honest with you, it's probably going to go to a quarterback because of that quote unquote importance of position. I'm not saying I believe. Everybody knows I've been on record on Newsbreak. I've been on record on the podcast. And I've been on record on DeanBlundell.com in writing that I believe Johnathan Taylor is the MVP of the National Football League this year. However, I do believe it will go to a quarterback, but Johnathan Taylor needs to be considered. And I just want to go over a couple things. So PFF Fantasy put this out today. The most runs of 20 yards and plus by a running back, Johnathan Taylor leads the league with 10. Nick Chubb's behind him with 8. Damian Harris was 7. Devontae Williams was 6. Miles Sanders was 6. Joe Mixon was 6. Number one, that's a lot of good company up there. And he's 2 above the best in the league. I went on PFF today. The guy's got an 87.7 grade of total offense. He's a 90.3 run grade, a 64.9 receiving grade. Again, as I was saying, it's been since October 11th. Starting October 17th, he's been at least 4 yards or more. He had a couple of outliers against the Jets and against Houston where he was 10.4 yards per carry, 9.1 yards per carry. I call those wash games because if I look at some of the other players, you'll see somebody with some crazy stats against those teams. And especially the Jets that the last 5 weeks, it seems like everybody is blowing them out, the poor New York Jets. However, on the season, he's been absolutely fantastic. He's got 241 carries, 1,300 yards, 5.6 yards per average. He has 36 receptions on the year, and he's got 16 touchdowns. I'm going to give you the opportunity, Lawrence, being an Indianapolis Colts fan, being a part of Colts media, being somebody who covers the Colts and watch them every day, to lay your case of why Johnathan Taylor should be the most valuable player of the National Football League.
Well, I'll tell you what. The only reason not to have him, in my opinion, right now is because the Colts are sitting at 7-6, and they're not a for sure in the playoffs right now. If he continues doing what he's doing, he's on pace to do something no other running back's done since 2006 when LaDainian Tomlinson won the MVP, right? To have 2,000 yards from scrimmage and over 24 touchdowns in a single season by a running back. Johnathan Taylor is on pace right now for scrimmage yards of 2,500 scrimmage yards and 26 touchdowns. Okay. That's what he's on pace for. Now, if he gets anywhere near that and the Colts get into playoffs, I don't care if it's the 7th seed. There's not another player in the NFL that has done more for their team in the effect that Johnathan Taylor has done for the Colts in the rest of the NFL that would deserve it more, in my opinion. I mean, just there's not. I get Tom Brady's been great, but if you put a halfway decent, quarterback in there, then would they still be great? Probably. Would they be 10 and whatever their record is? Maybe, maybe not. But Dak Prescott, he's got all that to work with as well. Offensively. How many receivers does Dak Prescott have to work with? How many receivers does Tom Brady have to work with? I get Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron Rodgers got 1, maybe 2 good receivers to work with. Okay. I'll give him that. And he's playing pretty good. So, but, as important when it says most valuable, it's supposed to be most valuable to your team and most valuable NFL. I think Johnathan Taylor is far and away, hands down, that guy. You're muted.
Did Lamar Jackson take himself out of the running with that loss against the Steelers on the weekend? Because there was a point that I said Lamar Jackson was probably the most important player on any team to their team in the NFL. And a lot of Ravens fans would agree with you and say, like, that Ravens team's a 3-win team without Lamar Jackson. However, he had a chance to beat a divisional rival. And I mean, they controlled that game and they couldn't punch it in. And I think that he took himself out of the running in that, because at the moment when you needed your superstar to be a superstar, I don't think Lamar Jackson looked like a superstar.
He took him out for this moment, right? Now, could he, over the next, 3 weeks, have 3 absolutely unbelievable games? It's Lamar Jackson. He absolutely could. And that could bring him back into the conversation. But at this point in time, yeah, I have to agree with you.